Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go through how to make emotional melody in a simple, straightforward, easy to follow way that hopefully by the end of this video you could emulate this style very close to, if not exactly the same, but with putting your own little twist on it. So let's get straight into it. This loop is made entirely out of one-shots, 3 one-shot packs in particular. I'll link to them in the description as I go through each of them here. But the first one here, which is the main sound, it's this producer grind poison one-shot kit. This is a piano shot. It's called Deep Thought. It sounds like this, and it is playing this melody. Very dark and emotional. Obviously, for these types of loops or beats, you're going to be working at a slower BPM and in a minor scale. In this one, I'm at 94 BPM, so it's quite slow. If you double time it, it's going to be 188, but most likely you're going to keep it at around 94. For this loop, we're working in C sharp minor. And the main thing to notice here is that I've used C sharp in every single half bar of the melody, just to keep this feeling of home and stability within the whole loop. But I'll break down exactly how I made this right here. So basically, this is 2 sets of 2-bar loops. So we have this loop, and then we have this loop, and together it makes a 4-bar loop that's completely copy and pasted into the next section. So this first 2 bars are just 2 C sharp minor triads arpeggiated like this, playing the root note once again. And then it's also playing the C an octave up in between these 2 root notes playing to give it a nice arpeggiated sound. These are arpeggiated 2 quarter beats from each other, so that it has a nice rhythm to it. I'm just playing a chord progression, C sharp, E, G sharp, A, throughout the whole loop. And this just gives a slight undertone towards the melody, because the main tonality that you hear, the main note, is obviously that this C sharp that plays over and over again. But if you switch up the bass note underneath the chord, you give it a different flavor. And that's where the progression in the loop itself comes from, this undertone underneath the bass notes. But yeah, this first part is just a C minor triad with the C playing on top, arpeggiated in this fashion. And then we've copy and pasted this over here, but with a little bit of variation. We've got this this melody playing on top. Notice I'm keeping a lot of the same rhythm, but I'm switching up the notes that I'm using. So I'm not going too far out of the original rhythm used in the first chord here. I'm just adding on top of it. And maybe I've got 1 or 2 notes extra, but I'm not changing it too much to the fact where it's too unpredictable and the listener can't catch on to the main melody, if that makes sense. There we've got 2 C minor triads with the same chord here, same rhythm that we've got here, duplicated over, just with this melody here and this B playing at the end. And for this second 2 bars, again, we've got this recurring theme, the C minor triad with the root note playing as well. But the only difference is it's much simpler. We've only got a half step up from the C sharp minor 5th, which is A. And if you didn't know this, obviously using half steps or semitones in your melodies makes it sound darker, adds a little bit more tension, a little bit more suspense. So if you can incorporate these semitones in your melodies and even in your chords like I've done here, you're going to be one step closer to having those dark emotional melodies. So this first chord, we've just got the A, and then I've added B and F sharp here. These notes are quite close together, which adds a little bit of dissonance as well, which again helps with the dark emotional type sound. And I've just copy and pasted this whole pattern over. It's the exact same, except this A is shifted up to B. That's the first melody. All I have for effects is a high pass filter, cutting out the lows to make room for a sub bass. This is something I do in almost every melody or loop that I make. The next sound I used here was from the same one-shot kit. This one's a bell one-shot and it's called Belly. It sounds like this. And for this one, I edited the envelope a little bit. I wanted the hold all the way up so that the note played as long as the note was on in the piano roll. And I decreased the attack time a little bit because it was a little bit too harsh. But this is what it sounds like. This just follows the chord progression from the other melody. It's at quite a low register to fill out that bottom end a little bit more. But you'll notice we've got a high pass filter or a low cut, cutting out all the subby frequencies to make sure it's not too muddy. And I've also fully merged the stereo image for this one because it is in a lower register. I find when a lower frequency sound is wider, it doesn't sound as good. So that's why I've done that. So with those two together, it sounds a lot fuller and a lot better, as you can hear right here. Next, I use this free one-shot as well. It's from Lucent's pack. He's another YouTube producer. I'll link this pack in the description as well. This is pluck number 14. Sounds like that. This one's at a higher register. You'll notice we're using sounds from every frequency range so that we don't have too much clashing. Everything has its own space. Everything has its own purpose. And I'm playing this quite fast arpeggiation at the start of each 4 bars. I kind of wanted it to sound like a sparkle almost. And I think it adds a really nice accent to the melody. And altogether it sounds like this. Very nice accent. I liked it a lot. I added a fruity reverb too. Just turn the wet slider up a little bit. Echo Boy. I've got the Memory Man preset on this one, just for a little bit of delay. And again, I've got a high pass filter all the way up to 500 Hertz because this is quite a high range sound. You can cut a lot of that low end out. Not all sounds have low end, but in the cases that they do, I just slap a filter on like that and it gets the job done easy peasy. Next, for the main melody, I've used Larry O's free one-shot pack. That'll be in the description as well. This is just the electric piano sound. It sounds like this. And this is just a nice layer, nice top melody that sounds like this. And that just repeats every 4 bars. Again, for effects, we've got fruity reverb on here with the stereo separation widened to about 25%. Got the wet turned up just a tad as well, but I've brought the mix level down to about 80% here to make sure it wasn't too wet, wasn't drowning out the sound too much. But I also wanted it to be a little bit further back in the mix because the dry sample was a little bit too in your face, if you know what I mean. Lastly, we've got my respace preset from Serum. It's again playing the root notes of the chord progression, and it sounds like this. For one last effect, I rendered out all of the melodic elements, discarding the sub bass, and I threw a halftime on there. I threw some drip on there, this lo-fi preset. I turned the mix level down to about 55%. And once again, I've put a low cut filter on there just for good measure. So yeah, altogether it sounds like this. Alright, that's going to be it. If you liked the video, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more content, hit the bell notification to be notified next time I post a video. If you learned something, leave a comment, let me know. And if you got any more ideas of videos you want to see from me, let me know in the comment section below as well. I hope you're well wherever you're watching from in the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you.